Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called By the Pond. It's 6 by 8, and I painted this, it was like last week or the week before. I'm real happy with it. Just love that 6 by 8 size. Funny enough, most sizes that I paint, I usually have a real strong preference for horizontal or vertical, but no, with 6 by 8, I love it vertical. I love it horizontal. It's just perfect. We double it. We got a 12 by 16. That's kind of an all-purpose size too, really. If I was painting a little bigger, I might do some more. The show I had here at the Fongaree Museum back in 2014. I had a lot of 12 by 16s in that. Although that was a big room with dark lighting, it wasn't good. Still, I could say I've had a museum show, and not many artists can say that. Yeah. So we're painting with just straight up burnt umber. It looks like I didn't really change it up too much. It's possible I put a little bit of that Rembrandt rose matter in it. Possible. But it's not really looking like the case too much. We're working on a board that's been prepped with some house paint. Kind of shooting there for kind of a raw umbery sort of tone. Real happy with that color. Some of the house paint colors I've tried are more miss than hit. Well, most of them have been good. I have a yellow ochre I like. I got a gray that's great. I got the burnt sienna I bought. I bought a whole with a kilo of that, and or half a kilo, and or the kilo. I don't know, kg. Um, that that was good for some applications, but ultimately was a bit bright. But I've toned that down successfully with some raw umber and put down a lot of boards. I have to say, I think the house paint is a very elegant solution for your board prep. In some ways, maybe superior to just working with the transparent gesso on the hardboard directly. I kind of feel that when that gets a little covered with oil, it takes on a bit of saturation that is not going to be present like in the color I'm painting on now, which isn't that far off if you averaged it out to the hardboard tone. Not that far off, you know. Anyway, I can make almost anything work. The thing I like least is to paint directly on white. But if I was going to do that, I would just tint everything. I would rub it all down with some paint prior to starting my painting and then go from there. And what a lot of guys do, I don't do it, but maybe I would if I was working on canvas and needed to just jump in and do some work, is they'll use some spirits and some paint and they'll tint their canvas that way. And I do think that's brilliant because the spirits will dry almost instantaneously, whereas if you used oil for that, it could be a bit of a mess as you progress through the painting. Now, the way I work, I actually do use some oil directly on the surface prior to painting, but that's basically to help me do some erasing and things, you know. Also, it gives me a true idea of the color of the board itself, which will shift. You know, a lot of times you have bits of that board peeking through, you know, around shapes and things, and you don't really notice it until you hit it with some liquid or some other type of coating that'll get rid of all the matte or dull colors and make it look nice and fresh, like it did when you finish painting it. Now, most of the all of the videos you see here are real time, but the images that hit you at the beginning and end of the video, that is me just going in with that video image and just cleaning up some of the specular highlights and maybe adjusting the contrast to what I know it truly is, which is generally just a little darker, a little more black. Yeah. Anyway, we're going in with the sky here, and now this piece was based on some German guy's painting. I've painted it before, and also very recently as a 4 by 6. Now this one I did, the 4 by 6 I'd done, it has not on the channel yet, maybe one day. It's a nice little painting. That was a closer, more representative take on the German dude's painting, which I had a lot of liberties with. That's why I'm not calling it a study or anything like that. Just basically kind of use it for composition. And this is a type of composition I absolutely love. And what I'd done here that I didn't do in the other little 4 by 6 was on our left side, I closed up. There was sky coming down around that tree, those tree shapes. I closed it up by adding another tree. Same thing on the other side. There was just like one little clump of trees with sky around it. I I closed it up and moved the mask off the edge. What's this? It's the book. Got several orders for the book this week, shipping them all over the planet. I'm getting close to every state in the U.S. At some point, I'm going to have to sit down and see who's missing and throw that out there. Say, hey, if you're from... I've done Rhode Island, so I can't use that. But I'm sure there's a few states. I've done Kentucky. I've done most of them. Lots of countries too. France, Germany, UK. Not so much places like Bulgaria or anything, but this is an English-speaking channel, so you never know. Anyway, check out the book. International shipping included, $60. Holding the line. I'm going to have to do a new print run coming up here. We're going to see what sort of damage is inflicted there. But, I've been holding the line because I don't make a ton of money on the book, but I love the fact it's out there in the world and helping people with their painting journey. All right, so, yep, I like to get that sky in behind everything. I work the same way all the time. I got my board prepped, I got my board sized. I did some fang dangling and wing dingling on the reference image, and then I do my drawing, and then I go in and do the sky, do the land. It's always the same, but what is different is every single painting is different. My approach is very much the same because it makes sense. It's logical. It's logical to do the sky behind because it is behind. It's logical to do an underpainting because you don't want to be moving around a bunch of stuff as you're painting. I don't think that's a good plan. Some guys do it. They do the color block in, or they'll do a value block in, which I think is pretty interesting, pretty cool. I have worked that way just for fun. Half the time I just like the value painting and I leave it just the way it is. So for me, the values come in with the color. They're hand in hand. I do like to get a bit of bright in the sky up against the trees. And now in the members area, you can see the reference image that I was looking at. It's up on the screen. I was trying to remember to pop it up proper on its own, but that's never going to happen. But you get a real good idea what I'm working with. And also, members, absolutely can ask me for any image if they feel like doing their own take of it. You could too, actually. I'm pretty easygoing, pretty friendly. You don't have to be a member. I love you anyway, okay? If you're coming around here and checking out my videos, you're in Mike's good graces. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And, why don't we, in the comments, if you're from a state that hasn't bought a book yet, let me know what state you're in. Anyway, yeah, getting the sky in, and then see the great thing about my sort of approach is that the sky will actually firm up those tree shapes. Now, I don't like to get too tight about nothing. I really like to just keep it loose all the way through. I would rather fail in a loose way than succeed in a tight way, because the fact of the matter is usually when things are tight, you're not going to succeed. It's not going to be successful. It is possible. It depends on your personality. It really does. For my personality, it's not a good way to go. I want a nice... What I like is for my stuff to look finished enough, look like a fairly, maybe has a kind of traditional feeling to it. But if you really look at what I'm doing, you can see I paint just like a modern. I don't... I love and admire brush strokes for being brush strokes. I don't feel like I need to turn them into strictly representational things in the painting, that they're no longer functioning as brushstrokes, but now functioning as a 100% representational interpretation of the scene. I'm not interested in that. We don't need it either, because we have photos and photo manipulation, and now we got the AI. You can give the AI a photo and say, make it look like a painting. I know... Well, you've been able to do some pretty neat things in Photoshop as far as making things look like paintings for a while. One of the trickiest ones is you have these things called brushes, and you apply a certain brush and use the art history tool. And I've seen some stuff looks amazing. Not so good with landscape, though, and I can tell you why. I mean, you can take a pretty awesome photo of a person and have some cool colors and contrast on it, make it interesting, and then have Photoshop interpret that as a painting, and it could be pretty successful as a work of art. But landscape is not that way. Really, it's not, and I'll tell you why. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. There's things in that photo, that landscape photo, that need to be moved around, changed, or sublimated, or brought forward. Okay, that's just how it is. Now, there is a such thing as landscape photography, and some of it's amazing and wonderful and beautiful, quite a lot of it, but it's really one of the hardest arts to do. You're going to need to find that winning composition, and then you're going to need to go out there. Now, if you're swapping skies, that's not technically a photo. Now you're into the realm of manipulated photo. We're not even going to go there right now. But let's just say you're a quote unquote photographer. You'll need to find that composition. You're going to need to pick a time of day to photograph it, and time of year, time of day. You're going to need a really cool sky in that composition, unless you're swapping out skies, which we just talked about a minute ago. That's not really being a photographer. It's something else. And I'm not dissing people that manipulate photos into artworks. I think that's fine. I have no problem with it. Um, I just as soon manipulate my photo and then make a painting though, because I think that looks even better, honestly. You can do it, and it's a tough gig. You need to sit there and get that great photo, and then, I'm always like, if I'm looking for reference to paint and I can see it's that kind of photo, generally I like to use my own photos anyway, but every now and again, certain subjects, I'm just, looking for things to paint. And if it looks like it's a very highly developed sort of artistic photo, like, I won't make a painting from it, because they've already made their artistic statement. And not only that, they're probably doing their best to sell it as a poster or print or who knows what. And I respect that. I would never want to step on that. Yeah. I don't do a lot of posters or prints myself. It's just my heart's not really in it. I have the technical ability and the skill set. I could do that all day long. I was definitely involved in reproduction when I was a commercial illustrator, but I would prefer to do like 6x8. Now this 6x8 probably won't get around to putting in the store on my site, but if it was there, it'd be around $300 US. Yeah. That's very affordable, and would really add to any home it's in. So that's where I'm at, affordable originals. And you might think about that too. I had some artists in my studio the other day, and they were showing me their stuff, and it was beautiful, and a lot of it was good size work too. And I always get a bit of a complex there, because I don't paint very big very often, and I was like, oh, the same old things I would say. Galleries, da, 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 don't have no room. Small studio, small house, da 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 da. Which is true. If I was doing a lot of big paintings, I basically need those galleries to just sell them and don't send them back to me. I don't need to have any place to store them. I don't want to. Anyway, but very interesting. I was thinking, oh, I'd have a better time in the marketplace if I was doing bigger things. But they think the opposite was true. They think, oh, we're thinking of doing more small stuff. And it does make sense in the current economic climate, which could be going for quite a while, I have to say. I'm positive about the long term, but in the short term, it's going to be a tougher gig for artists around. And all the more reason, say you're doing work that you don't love, but you're doing it because you know you can sell it. Well, stop doing that and start doing stuff you love, and start working for art history. Start creating paintings that are connecting with the universe at a far deeper and more infinite level than some decorative little gewgaw. You know what I mean? Do it now, because why not? That's the thing to do when times get a little tougher economically. I think that's when we should hunker down and move out of the time we're in and start thinking about the big zoom out. Like, where does this piece fall? Historically speaking, and what does it have to offer? Now, all of my work has one thing to offer, and that's sort of a peaceful repose. And they're not light, they're not sunny, they're not cheerful, but they are peaceful, and you can feel the light in them. So I don't know, there's only a couple in the store there. I gotta get my act together. Anyway, thanks for your support. Buy the book. Give me a like. Give me a comment. Gimme. Anyway, until they come back with another video, do me a favor, do me a solid. I'll keep giving you videos, okay? Take good care. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family. fight the power.